Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's APAC community call. So today we're going to have, as mentioned last time, we're going to have the first one of our training sessions for the main topic today. So again, back to the agenda. We'll first start with OHDSI news, which is really themed towards learn as a community. And then we'll go through each of the news for today, and then we'll go to the main topic, our training session on how to utilize Cohort Diagnostics Package to evaluate cohort definitions. And then we'll have our call for participation session. So first thing first, we'll go through the OHDSI news. Yep, thank you. So as you may know, we have had a kickoff session and also week 1 update for this year's Phenotype February, which will be a little bit different from last one, because I think definitely from last year's we had 29 different phenotypes that the community has worked together, which has been super beneficial for the whole team and community. And this year we again look for all of your participation in our Phenotype February for the year. And also, if you have not, I strongly recommend that you can go to the link below for the Phenotype February kickoff session by Patrick, and also the week 1 update that just happened. And all of the recordings are on OHDSI website. And then next we'll have our Save Our Sisyphus Challenge, which is another great learning opportunity for the team to come up with any clinical ideas you may have, and then as a community we'll work together to help and also to share any experience on that. So the challenge is still just got open, and also there is a link form that you can input your information to participate in this challenge, and also your clinical questions that you may have and want to work together with the community on. And next, yes, we do. And you may have also received a email from Anna on, I think the email was really cute and start with, you may not, expect this email from us, but you got an email from, the team who is maintaining Athena. And also, since we've been, obviously, vocabulary is one of the 2 pillars, together with CDM for OHDSI CDM and vocabularies in general. And then the vocabulary team are calling for any, feedback or any suggestions you may have. So all of that, there is a survey that just I think it was rolled out last week. And also feel free to, to leave a message and write your suggestions in the survey. And also link here. And last but not the least, is really the great news that we want to share with everyone, and also the cute logos that we have designed with Nicole and Sarah Seeger for you to save the date, which is July 13th to 14th will be the APAC symposium, and it will be in Sydney, Australia. And also we now have the collaboration showcase submissions open, so feel free to submit your abstract and all of the. So it's very similar, it's the similar OHDSI template and everything that you may find familiar already. And then for that, we'll have the website open, and feel free to go check it out and let us know what questions you may have. But again, save the date, and we look forward to your participation in this year's symposium. And the cute koala awaits. So Nicole, not to put any pressure, but I'm sure, koala will be part of our symposium, right?
There'll be many things part of the symposium, koala being one of them.
Awesome.
Yes. So we've got lots of surprises that for the symposium itself, and we're right now developing the program. So it's very exciting, and we're hoping that everyone will come along and join. So it's the 2 days after the MedInfo conference. So if any of you are attending Sydney for the MedInfo conference, please stick around for the next 2 days after that conference finishes, and we'll have the OHDSI symposium there. So and yeah, submit your abstracts. So it'll be great to have lots of discussion and lots of great research presented at that forum.
Do we have? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So do we have potential agenda for the symposium?
We're developing it right now. So we'll send around the details of that as soon as we've got it a bit more bedded down. So
because some of the some says that they want to participate or create some sessions at the OHDSI APAC, such as oncology study across the APAC regions. So I wonder that we fix the agenda of the symposium.
no, it's not totally fixed. So if there are some suggestions, Chan, please send them through to me. I have a local organising committee meeting next week where we're trying to finalise the agenda. So we can discuss that. So just send that through to me on an email.
Okay,
just
cool.
to add, Chan is also invited to that planning
Yeah.
call as well. So
Yeah.
if you are available, you might join yourself and discuss
right.
with the group. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Jing.
Thank you, Nicole. So that's kind of the 4 different news, the learning opportunities, and of course our symposium. Save the date notification for everyone. Thank you, everyone. So without further ado, we're gonna go to the main topic for our first training session this year, which is on how to utilize cohort. Oh, yes.
I want to add that if you go back to the events that was happening, there's actually another one that you didn't mention. It's the previous page, I think. This. So for the vocabulary, it's very important if you guys are data owners or actual people that utilizes the vocabulary. Excuse me. It's quite actually important that you guys go and fill out these surveys, because the vocabulary team is making an effort trying to assess all the different vocabularies and what they should be prioritizing and working on and how to improve the vocabulary this year. And this is the first time that they're asking for community-wide feedback on that, right? So we would love to encourage the Asia Pacific side to provide more of your feedback to the community on our issues or any type of enhancements we would like them to focus on. And it could be new vocabularies that's not even in the vocabulary today, right? So I just want to make sure this is the chance for everybody to go out there and actually fill out this form. It doesn't take that long, okay? So that we can get your words and your thoughts in with the vocabulary team. There's also another event, and I don't think, Jing, you have it here, but it's Mark, I can't remember the acronym for it. I think it's is it CELSI? Oh my goodness. Sisyphus.
Well, the acronym is SOS, Save Our Sisyphus. There you go.
There you go. So again, it's also another challenge that we really want to encourage Asia Pacific to join. And what this is we would like to understand a question or research study idea that you have. And what's going to happen after that is, and this is due, I think, by the end of February, all of the different questions that people ask are going to be reviewed by a committee, and then they're going to pick one, or I don't know how many, but pick some from here. And from there, they're going to go through from start to end, right? So they're going to take this whole thing from start to end. So again, it's an opportunity for Asia Pacific, because we don't always have the data, but I'm sure we have lots of ideas and lots of research questions in Asia Pacific that really may be different than the rest of the world, or even trying to do a comparison, right, between Asia Pacific and the rest of the world, because of a lot of our different environments and backgrounds. So we encourage that you guys, if you have a scientific idea, go out there and fill this out, and you never know, you might get picked. 4 years ago, 5 years ago at the symposium, one of the Asia Pacific questions got picked for the one-day study-a-thon during the symposium. She didn't expect it, but it ended up getting picked, right? So we would love it if you guys can go out there and show the APAC participation in some of these global all around OHDSI activities. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, Jing, I just wanted to bring that up or emphasize the importance of those.
No problem. Cool. Thank you, Mui. And then next we'll have our main topic for the first training session we have this year. And then we have invited Xiaoyu Lin to give us a presentation and also a live demo of how to utilize Cohort Diagnostic to refine and fine tuning our study cohorts. So Xiaoyu is a senior data scientist in IQVIA OMOP team and also based in Shanghai, China. And he has been joining the OHDSI community since early 2021 and really has been working closely with the community on the trainings and also study support. So without further ado, so we'll have Xiaoyu to share the screen and also walk us through of the fantastic tool Cohort Diagnostic, and then we'll see how that can help with our studies.
Yeah, thank you, Jing. Can you see my sharing?
Yes, all good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, hi everyone. So today this is the topic I'm going to cover for today's section in the next 30 minutes also. But first, I will briefly introduce the OHDSI methods library HDS, and then I will focus on how to explain how to create a custom cohort diagnostic package with using the Hydra and Web API packages. And then next, we will explore the results from the cohort diagnostic package using some of the cohort definitions for the study that Nico is running. And then also I will talk a bit about the common errors you may encounter when you're developing the diagnostic package. Yeah, so here is the OHDSI method library, which is also short for HDS. So let me show you the website, which is contains a lot of powerful and helpful information for all our analysis using common data model databases. So the HDS contains a set of open source R packages for large scale analytics. So if you look at under the packages page, the packages in HDS are further divided into 6 subgroups. It contains 4 of them are under the population level estimation, like the very popular one, cohort method, which we use to create a propensity score model, to run propensity score models. And then also 3 under the patient level prediction, and also the characterization package. And under the cohort construction and evaluation package, we have the cohort diagnostic package, which we are going to mainly talk about today. And then also we have this evidence quality 2 package under the evidence quality subgroup. So for example, the empirical calibration package is used to calculate the calibrated hazard ratio or odds ratio for the PLE studies. And at the bottom, we have quite a few supporting packages, which can be embedded in the packages above. And then for today, we are going to talk about we are going also to introduce the package Hydra, which can be used to hybrid package skeletons into executable R study packages based on specifications in JSON format. So we are going to use it to create a customized cohort diagnostic package based on the cohort diagnostic template package. Yeah, and also under the publication tabs, you can see that these are a lot of publications that use the HDS package. Yeah, so for the cohort diagnostic package, it is a R utility package for development and evaluation of phenotype algorithms for OMOP CDM datasets. And it provides a standard end-to-end set of analytics for understanding the patients included in your cohort, and then the results explorations, and you can explore the results through an interactive ㅍOHDSI dashboard. And under the results include like cohort characteristics and the record counts and index event classifications, and the observation windows before and after the index date for the patients in the cohort, and also like basic incidence proportions for age, gender, and calendar years. And also the another like thing about this this Shiny page, it can also allow you to compare multiple candidate cohort definitions across one or more data sources. So to create a custom cohort diagnosis package, you need to have two. There are two assumptions. First, you need to have a set of valid cohort definitions. So it can be either ㅍCall files that you created or generated, but the ㅍCall files has to be in line with the format of OHDSI ㅍCall format or ㅍCall template, or you can export the cohort definition from Atlas by using the export tab under the cohort definition module, or you can use the web API package to pull the cohort definitions directly from Atlas. So for today, we are going to use this version, this approach to pull the cohort definition directly from Atlas. And then also you will need to have the access to the data, as well as you have the access to a schema in the database with the read, update, and delete privileges. In order to create a custom cohort diagnosis, these are the steps. So first, you have the cohort diagnostic template package, which is available in the OHDSI GitHub. And then you hydrate the template package with the cohort definitions that you want to diagnose with the Hydra package. And then after that, you will get your package created, and then you build your package and execute the diagnostics on one or more data sources of your interest. And lastly, you can review the results set using the Diagnostic Explorer ㅍOHDSI app from the cohort diagnostic package. Yeah, so just like a high-level introduction about the Hydra package. So it's the Hydra package actually can hydrating package skeletons into executable app package based on a specification in JSON format. And currently, the Hydra package contains package skeletons for cohort diagnostics, patient-level prediction, and population-level estimation studies. That means like there are some ready-to-use scripts for you to use the Hydra package to directly or straightforward, very simple to create the customized package for the three types of studies. And also the skeleton package is a special package that is designed to build with Hydra. As I mentioned, like there are the skeleton package are available for the three of them, and which are also can be found under the OHDSI GitHub. And another thing about the Hydra package is that you can link it to Atlas directly, and then to pull the cohort definition from there. And to download and install Hydra in your R environment, you can follow the comments here. Once you have your Hydra installed in your R environment, so in the Cohort Diagnostic Package on GitHub, there is an example script shows you how to generate a custom package custom diagnostic package with Hydra. So let me go to that page. Yeah, so this So this is the Cohort Diagnostic GitHub, and then under the extras, and there is a script called example how to create study package with Hydra. So you can use this one to create a custom diagnostic package with specific information about your study and your cohort definition. So for the first part, what you need to fill up is the information about your package, like the package version name, and who created or who modified that, and then the skeleton type. So for us, the skeleton type is cohort diagnostic study. And then the second part is like I mentioned, you can utilize the web API to extract the cohort definitions you created in Atlas directly. So I have an example. So if you have the cohort definition created in the demo Atlas webpage, which is accessible by everyone, it's for public. If you that, then this is the web this is the web API address. So you can simply put this web API address and then the cohort IDs here. So these are the 3 cohorts that I created under the demo Atlas. So which is for Nico's MS projects. And then, but if you are using an Atlas with security embedded, like your internal Atlas interface, then you will need to supply the SSL certificate and the credentials to in order to extract the cohort definitions from Atlas. So you need to run the line on row 25, and also the authorized function on row 26 with the web API of your Atlas, and also your password and username to the internal Atlas. And once you specify all of these informations, updated the script, then you just run. You do not need to do any modification to the codes below, and then it will automatically create a package under your under the output folder that you specified at the beginning of the script. So as you can see here, this is the package, the custom package that I created for this study. So you can see that the project changed to the name of my my package name, and then it has the cohort information. So if you look at the cohorts to create CSV file, it contains the 3 cohorts that I want to diagnose for this study. And then after you have that package created, then the first thing you need to do is to launch the R project object of the file, and then install all dependencies, which is stored under the R0 log file. And then once that is done, it will take some time to install all the dependencies. And after all the packages are installed, then you build your package by pressing the install button from the build panel. And if you successfully build the package in your R environment, then you can see this message which then, and then the package name, and the package will be automatically loaded to your R environment. And once the package is built, the next step is to execute the package. So inside the newly created package, under the folder extras, then there is a script called code to run. So this is the script that you need to modify or update to run the study, or to run the diagnosis on your cohorts. And in this script, there are a few things you need to update, like where you want to store your outputs, and then the connection details, or the schema names of your database, etc. And once everything is updated, then there is a function below called execute. Then you just run this function, and then the package will be running, and you will get the results. So if you want to run the diagnostic on more than one or multiple databases, then you either repeat the same thing for different databases, or you can utilize the parallel computing, but it might not be working for some of the database environment. And so, like for example, I have for this example, I run the cohort diagnostic package on 2 of IQVIA databases, the Belgium one and the Italy one. And I want to combine the results and then show the results from the 2 databases in the Shiny app. So what I need to do is to put the two zip files are automatically generated from the execute function. And I want to put the zip, we need to put the zip files from different databases into one folder first. And then, in order to generate the input for the Shiny app, the commands or the code is a bit different for different version of Cohort Diagnostic Package. So for the package version greater than 3, so they actually use this create merge the results file function under the Cohort Diagnostic Package, and then the combined results will be in a single SQLite file. And for the Cohort Diagnostics with version less than 3, the function used to merge or combine the results from different databases is pre-merged diagnostic files, and the resulted outcome is a single R data file. So the reason why I want to propose these two options is that in some of so like we did some tests in our R environment. So we are using R Workbench, which is Linux, like the backend is Linux. So the version 3 actually does not work properly, or it cannot launch the Shiny app or show the results on the Shiny app properly. So sometimes we need to go. We at the moment we still need to use this version of the Cohort Diagnostic Package to launch the Shiny app results. And then once you have either the SQLite or R data input file prepared or generated, then you just run the Launch Diagnostic Explorer function to launch the Shiny app. Yeah, and also like the interface of the Shiny app from these two versions are a little bit different, but the contents are almost identical. Yeah, so here is the interface of the Shiny app from the older version of the Cohort Diagnostic Package. So you can launch the app on your local laptop or your local R server, and also you can like upload it to server. So I will show you the example. Sorry, I will show you the examples of the results from the 3 cohorts that Nicole created for the SM study. So there are 3 cohorts. There are 3 cohorts created. For the first one, the index event is the any drug exposure to the medications for traditional treatment. And then for the second cohort are the first drug exposure.
Hey,
for the
Xiaoyu.
second, yes.
Sorry, can you make this bigger?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Is it okay?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. So you just like let me know if there is any specific path you want to see on the results. Yeah. So for here, these are the 3 cohorts, and the first one is the index data in the entry event for the second cohort is the first drug exposures to medications for early aggressive treatment. So the drugs, the index drugs for the 2 cohorts are different. And for the third one, the cohort definition are from the phenotype library. The index event is a diagnosis of MS anytime in the database. So there are like you can see that there are different tabs under the Shiny dashboard, and the results are summarized and present in each of the tabs. So if you click the exclamation mark besides the tab name, it shows you the very detailed like explanation about what information is presented under this tab and how to interpret those results, and also like the options how to like select multiple cohorts or multiple databases to compare the results. And under the what to look for, actually this is quite useful. It gives you some like ideas on how to interpret the results. like whether the results make sense, or how to based on the results, how to evaluate your cohort definitions. So I won't go through like one by one, but Nico, just let me know like if there is any of the types you want to see. So for the under the cohort counts, so you can see the counts for the two. Let me select both databases. So this table shows the number of entry events and the number of unique patients in each cohort identified in each of the cohorts. So as you can see that in both Belgium and Italy database, we identified a very few number of patients in cohort 2. But the number of patients identified in cohort 3 is much higher in Italy. I mean, even like proportionally, it's much higher in the Italy data. Under the index event breakdown, it shows that the concepts observed on the index date. So it can be like either the standard concepts or the non-standard concepts, which is the source concepts or codes used in the source data. I think it's too small. Let me reset. Okay, so like for the cohort, for the first cohort, as you can see that the index, the drugs observed at the index date are quite different in the Belgium database and Italy database. So you can see the 96 of the patients in cohort 1 in Belgium database were identified or observed. The entry drug is this one. But in Italy database, the most frequent drug identified observed on the index date is a different one. They are from the same drug class, but and with the same strength, but one is oral capsule. I think the other is like delayed release oral capsule. Yeah, and then we can also look at the cohort 3 as the index event is the diagnosis. So you can see like the diagnosis. The diagnosis of the concepts observed on the index date for the third cohort is the same. For both Belgium and Italy database is this one, and then you can check what the source concepts or the source codes used in the original source data. So you can see that in the Belgium database, actually, it's the ICD code of the diagnosis. And in the Italy, they use the ICD-9CM codes for the diagnosis of MS. And under cohort overlap, it shows the overlap between like the three cohorts. So I think the interest part probably is because we have very few patients in the second cohort. So it probably meaningful just to compare the first and third cohorts. So if you look at this line shows the overlap between the first cohort and third cohort in Italy database. So you can see that actually the overlap is relatively higher. So there are like I think 1,000 and almost 1,200 patients in cohort 1. And majority of them are like more than 90% of them are overlapped with cohort 3. But the proportion is a bit lower in the Belgium database. So it may like we may interpret it as that patients in Italy database, if they had the diagnosis and they are more likely to also had exposure to the drug for traditional treatment. And for the cohort characterization and temporal characterization, they are showing the characteristics. The top one is showing the characteristics of the patients on and anytime on before and on the index date. And for temporal one, it shows the characteristics at different time, at specific time window. So I think for this one, what we can look, and there are two. I think what we can see here is about the index date. So you can see for the cohort 3. Now we are looking at the cohort 3. For cohort 3, the diagnosis of MS, because this is the entry event, so we see that 100% of patients had this event on the index date, and there are some of them had this diagnosis at some specific time window post the index date. But if we look at cohort 1, if we look at cohort 1, the index date is the drug exposure. So you can see that 84% of the patients had the diagnosis, also had the diagnosis on the drug exposure, on the date of the first drug exposure. But some of them also had a diagnosis before the first drug exposure. So that's the difference between the first and third cohorts. And Nicole, is there any like specific characteristics you want to look at?
Not specific characteristics. I have a few other questions, but yeah, keep going with this and then we can come back to those questions.
Yeah, I think the last thing I want to mention is about the compare cohort characteristics. So it compares the characteristics between any two of the cohorts. So they have like two versions, like pretty one and the raw one. So the pretty one include only some manually pre-selected characteristics and is only like binary covariates. And for the raw one, it includes all like covariates captured in the cohorts. Yeah, so this one will help you to like evaluate whether the two cohorts that you are going to compare are like they are like whether there is any characteristics are very different between the cohorts, especially when you want to do comparative analysis, and does that matter to you? Yeah, so I think that's like the main message that I want to share with you about the dashboard. And then just lastly, I want to just like give you some like this is based on our experience while like developing or executing the cohort diagnostics package. So there are some like common errors or common issues that we have encountered. So the first one is that unused arguments. Because all the OHDSI packages are actually like constantly updating. And then there are like some dependencies, packages updated, but then the base one is not updated. So there might be some discrepancies in terms of arguments used in the functions across databases. So you may, if you have had this kind of errors, then please like update your packages to the most latest version and then reinstall your package, then solve your problem. And also, I think this is because like we are like switching from Redshift to Snowflake, and then we found that some of the commands or functions does not work, or some of the default parameters does not work in Snowflake environment. So, for example, is there is a parameter called incremental mode, and this one in the Hydra skeleton package. It doesn't work in the Snowflake, so we have to manually turn this parameter. The default is true, but we have to turn it off for Snowflake. And then also,
Xiaoyu, sorry.
Yeah.
The grids are driving me nuts. Can we put this in presentation mode or something like
sorry.
that? Sorry, the grids are driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah. And the last one is like there might be, even though like you use the restore to install all the dependencies required for the package, but when you launch the Shiny application, it also like popped up, like ask you to install a lot of Shiny related packages. So if you had that problem, you just accept all the prompts and then install all the dependencies as requested. And also, like if last but not least, if you have any questions or encounter any errors while you are using the package, you can always submit your question or query to the GitHub page. Yeah, that's all from my presentation. And Nico, do you want me to go back to the Shiny dashboard?
Yeah, so that was great. Thank you so much for showing us those results. I guess one of the very first questions for me when you showed the cohorts and the number of patients in each of the cohorts, what I would imagine is that, you know, we've got the two different databases that you're using will have different, you know, calendar time in there. And I wonder whether that's something we should first look at, you know, in the cohort. How many people have we got? When was their entry date? And, you know, what was the trend over time? So can we, is it possible to see that?
Yeah, it's under the incident rate.
Yep.
And for the
Great.
for the LPD databases, actually the coverage of the database is the latest 10 years. So the starting date of the two databases are quite similar or quite close to each other. Yeah, so from here you can see the start date, the cohort start date or the entry event, the time of the entry event. Let me see which country is it. Yeah, this is both of the countries.
Yeah, I think you have both selected.
Yeah, so yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
The top one is Belgium, and then the bottom one is Italy. I think it's looks. And then these are the three cohorts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just reacting to the very small numbers in the C2 cohort, and they're the, you know, medicines that are being used more recently. So I was wondering whether there was a difference in the recency of the data available, which would explain why there's not a bigger number in that cohort. But I also think that in these particular medicines, people may be switching to those. So there will be a lot of people who were in the C1 cohort who, you know, a couple of years or so down the track would switch to the C2 cohort. But here we're only looking at patients who initiated on either C1 or C2, right? So
yeah,
that might explain the difference. Although I guess we haven't, did we exclude people entering each cohort if they couldn't have been in the other cohort? Is that how it worked?
No, I think we just followed the cohort definitions that you shared. Yeah, we didn't
so
like exclude.
First.
Yeah, make them like exclusive.
Yeah, it's probably more about the recency of those medicines in the C2 cohort. Yeah. But in terms of the demographics, that looks right. You know, the age group and the proportion that are female, much higher, 75% or so female patients. So yeah. I think, what else? What was my other question? The overlap was interesting. I think one of the questions in this study is how can we identify patients based on their medicine use only rather than diagnosis as well, because there'll be some databases, ours included, that doesn't have diagnosis. So what we're really trying to understand is, can we identify a group of patients with MS based solely on the specific medicines that are used in those conditions? And here it looks like it's there's not that great an overlap, so that might be a bit problematic.
Yeah, especially in Italy, I think majority of the patients have the diagnosis.
Yep. But perhaps that's also that there's some medicines that have not been included in our cohort definition that are being used in Italy that we may for this condition. So that's another interesting question to look into. Are we missing some concepts that are just, used in different countries and not others?
Under the orphan concepts, actually these are like some like relevant concepts, but not included in our concept set that related to our index or entry event. But I do not have the capability to review whether these ones should be added. But if you are interested, maybe you can have a look at the list of relevant concepts. Whether we missed any of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but it just shows that there's a lot of things you can identify with the cohort diagnostic package, and it's really very powerful.
Definitely.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, because I think, Nicole, like you mentioned, it's just a great way to test out whether the cohort is good or not. I'm not saying good or not, but like it's like where part we're lacking. Like we see this in we're not seeing too much in Italy, so that's kind of triggers us to do, like let's try something else. And then as Xiaoyu showed here, like I really like the orphan concept, and then the first time I'm looking at it, I was like, orphan concept? What do you mean? And then I'm like, okay, that makes total sense. Like, the program is also trying to like suggest to us, where can be the possible ones that we can, try it out or not. I guess it's our decision. But the orphan concepts also, it's a great suggestion, comes along with diagnostic tool that we can dive into.
Yeah, I just looked up Copaxone, that's on the screen there, and it's gluteramine acetate, which we do have gluteramine in there, but I've not heard of that one specifically, so it's probably something I missed. So
yeah, but I guess the counts are quite low in those.
Very low. But
very low too.
It's a really powerful way of seeing what's there, and if there's something that's frequent, yeah, that should be in there. But anyway, I can go through that list.
A good example why we need to use the cohort diagnostic tool,
Correct.
right, for all of our studies. So anybody got any other questions besides Nicole? Using your thumbs, do you guys like these types of training demos so that we can try to figure out to do more of these? Oh, I see a question. I see questions and not thumbs, but I don't know if those hands were raised because they're liking what we're doing.
Sorry, I accidentally did raised instead of thumbs up.
Okay. Oh, no, that works too. Either way, right? So we're just looking for feedback if these types of trainings are more to the appetite of the APAC community for you guys to better understand the tools as well as other things that are going on, right? Because our next month's community call, I think we have the topic for it already. I think it has to do with network studies. I'm not 100% sure, but it has something to do with how to do network studies, okay? So I want to make sure folks, get more insights and get more understanding through these community calls. Now, I think, Nicole, we utilize this example. Actually, this example is one of the 4 studies that we are looking for. Xiaoyu, I don't know if you can pull up that last page of that deck since you're sharing. This is a study. That we started, I think, a year ago, and we've not made as much progress, but we're trying to push these studies a bit more. So we're using some of our community calls to show how things are going, but also want to call folks out to see if you guys want to participate. If you can go to the next slide. So what we're looking for is a call for participation. Xiaoyu just mentioned earlier that if you have any problems, contact her directly. Well, we're going to ask you to contact this email address instead. So the APAC Symposium at odyssey.org, that actually goes to Song, but that's just our account. So if you want to participate in this study, have questions about any of the training stuff that happened today, put it in that, send us an email. And then Song will send it to the right people, because some of your questions may not be with Xiaoyu, it may be with Nicole, maybe Jing can answer, or someone else in the community might be able to answer. Of course, the other way you could do it is posting it on the forum, but I know with Asia Pacific, emails probably work a little bit better because you guys are shy from posting in the forums, which is okay too. So the other thing we ask is if you guys actually have data. We would love you guys to run the packages that Xiaoyu shared earlier, right, in your data, so that we can get a better understanding of whether or not the cohorts that were defined, the 1, 2, and 3, I think they were, really made sense, right? Like Nicole just found a drug that she didn't include. And I don't know if she would have known that if we didn't run it on EU data, right? So again, the more data assets we're able to run these on, the more complete picture that we can see of a cohort. So we'd love if folks can run it, okay? Again, contact this if you have an interest in running or even questions. So do we get anyone excited about running this on their environment? Show of hands.
And
Me?
so, Moe, maybe is it worth clarifying that you don't necessarily have to have the whole package enabled. You can just run the cohort. So we have just the cohort itself, code SQL for code. So it's maybe it might seem daunting to run the whole package, but you can just run the cohorts themselves in your Atlas instance if you wanted to have a look as well.
Yep. Jing, is there anything else we need to cover in this community call?
I think that was the last part of the community call. And then, yeah, again, like Moe mentioned, just shoot the email to apacsymposium@ohdsi.org, and then we'll redirect to, redirect to the folks to get your question answered.
Yeah, just want to remind people, coming up in 2 weeks is the scientific community, scientific forum, where all 4 leaders will actually go over their study, and that's a chance for us as a community to prioritize those studies. So if you really want to see a certain study push through, you might want to, especially the study owners, try to get your people behind you, because then maybe we'll get more people will prioritize yours, right? Just joking around there. But yeah, same time, but in 2 weeks, we do have the scientific forum where the 4 folks will go over their studies, as well as we will prioritize and look at some of the stuff that we're doing right now, right? Like Nicole's cohort, right? As well as like I mentioned just a minute ago, in a month, the next one has to do with network studies. So again, come back, and it's a tutorial as well. It will be given by the Korean team about how to run a network study. What type of network study? I will keep that as a mystery, but do come back.
Oh,
keep that as a mystery.
Okay.
But
Okay,
please
I'm
come
not gonna say
back.
it now.
I don't want to give away everything here, right? Nope. Got to give you guys some surprise here. So come back and listen to how you want to learn about running some kind of network study. Okay. Awesome. Last thing, reminder, the APAC Symposium submissions, we would love to hear and see all the scientific stuff you guys are doing. Okay, it could be existing projects. It doesn't have to be complete. It could be working. As long as you get it to the APAC Symposium to a certain state, we accept abstracts like that as well. So we'd love to see all the work that you guys are doing in Asia Pacific. Come join the Cohen folks in Sydney, Australia. It's Australia. Why wouldn't you want to go? Right? Why wouldn't you want to go? Granted, it might be winter time, but still,
it's still lovely in Sydney.
Yes,
the
it's
weather
lovely.
is
It's Sydney. The Olympics was there. Come on, if they could hold the Olympics there, I mean, who wouldn't want to go to a city like that, right? Cool. Well, does anyone have anything else before we adjourn? Last call. I see a hand. Atif. Wow, wait, you've never been here. You're new. Who are you? I don't think I've ever seen you. I know who you are, but you've never been here.
Hey there, everyone. Atif Adam here. It's late on my side. It's close to 11 p.m. So you don't want to see me in my PJs since my camera's off. But great to meet everyone. I work closely with Movie and Jing and Xiaoyu, everyone on IQVIA. I'm the associate director for epidemiology on their team. This is my first APAC call, so I'll try to get on these calls and avoid my wife's anger at the same time. Yeah, but I just want to give an update. I've been joining the OHDSI India calls as well this month. So I think it's really late or early in the morning for them. So I'll try to give an update on the OHDSI India chapters on these calls moving forward.
Thank you for joining us. One such late hours and also bringing in more participating from other OHDSI chapters. It's great to see. We love you joining us at it's almost 11 p.m. at night your time. So thank you. All righty. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice one.
All right,
Bye, guys.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for
Thanks,
that.
everyone.